God bless you. God bless you. We are so excited today because today I have a special guest. You might have seen him on TikTok. You might have seen him on YouTube. You might have seen him on Instagram. He's always talking about the singles and relationships and all of these different things. My director's throwing up clips on the screen so you can see him.
Ladies, this is the kind of man you don't want this year, all right? A man don't text, you don't want him. A man don't set up a date, you don't want him. A man don't talk to you for days, you don't want him. A man seems like he's too busy for you, you don't want him. You gotta beg him to do anything, to be in your presence. Say this last one with me. I don't want you. Go with God.
This is no other than Bishop Greg Davis. And today, oh my God, I'm so excited. We're going to be uncensored, raw. I get to ask him any question. Dating, relationships, sex, divorce, all of it. This is going to be an amazing podcast interview where I get to interview my first guest, Bishop Greg Davis. He has now become the relationship guru in Christendom. Let's delve into this and find out the do's, the don'ts, or how he says it. I'm going with God. Bishop Greg Davis, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here. You know, some years ago, I was sitting over there.
When I was 18 years old,
I was sitting on that side, and you were on this side. And it's kind of light changes.
So, Bishop...
18, I was when I owe you was. That was about 15, 16 years ago. Okay, I got
18, yeah, that's about 15, yeah.
Rejoice in the word.
Rejoice in the word. So, Bishop Greg, you started out, I met you when I was 18, and you always use your platform. And I want to thank you for this. And I want to say this publicly because I believe you give honor to where honor is due. You have always used your platform to push young preachers. When my ministry was just blowing up at 18 years old, I was traveling with Benny Hinn. I was just starting to get my name out there, and not a lot of people knew who I was. You opened up your stage. You said, come down to the Word Network. Let me interview you. Why? What is it that you see in young preachers, and why do you take such a role in doing that when many other preachers, it's like they want to control their stage. They don't want that. Why do you take that approach?
That's a good question, and thank you for having me. I appreciate you so much. You're like my little brother, and we're like family. You know the reason why when they asked me to do my program, I could have sat there every week and did it myself. When you came, I think we were only maybe an hour program, but I look at myself as a doorman. I grew up in New York until I was 9 in Manhattan, Wesley apartment, 55th and 8th. You know about New York.
Yeah.
They would have a doorman.
Right.
And the doorman would let you in to go up and let you out so that you can go out to where you're going. I believe I'm a doorman in the Bible. I believe I'm used to let people into, in other countries, they call it the lift.
Right.
Lift them up.
Right.
To the level that they're going to. So I've always used my platform, even on radio, I was on radio first, to showcase others. I love talking to people. Interviews are conversations.
Right.
And I love having conversations with people. And there are many like you that have come back and said, thank you. And it's accredited to my account. And while we're talking about this, before me, there was Bishop Carter Pearson that did this same thing. And I honor him. Even had a chance to, now that was one of the greatest, to sit him on the other side.
I saw that interview.
And for a whole hour we talked, then it was the conversation after. Then we in around the table, we were at Greater Grace. And so that's when I use my platform to help others.
So you went from radio to television to now building this social media. You're constantly, one thing about you, Bishop Greg, that is different, especially for pastors in your age bracket. You're like an uncle. You're in the same age as my dad. Is that you know how to reinvent yourself. So now you're on social media, and I'm seeing these single women pulling you up. I was out at the mall, and I'm looking at these girls, looking at you, counseling them about the right one.
When the right one comes.
What is this thing about the right one? How did you get into this?
So first, the sons of Issachar are my favorite tribe.
Okay.
Because
Why?
they understood the times and what they should do. It's one thing understanding the times, but you have to know what to do with them. COVID brought us in. It caused us to reflect and stop. I was at home. I didn't play with COVID. I didn't go out. So I built what I had been thinking about doing for years. When the Right One Comes started from divorce. About 14 years ago, I moved back to Detroit, and I was sitting at an event with my play sister Lola. And back then it was no Instagram. I tweeted, in order to be with the right one, you have to become the right one. People start liking it, retweeting it.
That's good. Wait, in order to be with the right one,
To find the right one, you have to become the right one. You have to become or manifest.
Type that in the chat room, guys. Just type that in.
Yeah.
In order to be
With the right one.
with the right one, you have to become.
What you're trying to be is.
Wow.
You're not competing with that person, but you have to be at least at that level. The more valuable you become as a woman or as a man, the more reach you have for somebody. You like Louis Vuitton.
Okay, wait. Guys, people, partner. Bishop Greg Davis has became one of the first in the kingdom. I mean, there's a lot of people that do it outside of the kingdom, but he has a way of Christianizing this and making sure that it lines up with the word. And this is why I like it. And I think this is why a lot of women that love Jesus, love the word of God, Jesus is everything, but you still need interpersonal relationships. And I know there's an extremist where all I need is Jesus, but at the end of the day, you still need a touch, you still need affection. It is not good for man to be alone. Bishop Greg Davis has become what is almost like the relationship guru. And I found out not by going to your page, but I saw these women that were Christian women looking at your stuff, talking about, I'm going with God. I'm going with God.
Man.
What is up with this? What is up with this? Because I'm seeing now, I had one woman I was praying for and I ministered to her and I was prophesying to her. And she said, yeah, I had to let him know I'm going with God. I said, what is this Greg Davis colloquialism going on?
Started that on Clubhouse. We were doing shoot your shot, and when they didn't, when the couple would show
Your shot.
what shoot your shot is when a man or a woman see somebody on social media and they shoot their shot.
Okay, I got you.
So when they would hook up on social media or Clubhouse, I was doing it during the pandemic. I would tell them go with God, and it became a thing. So now I got the go with God hats. I got all the paraphernalia, but that's a lot of people are in a relationship. They can send them with God. They're with the wrong person.
Wow.
They're going through hell. They're letting people come in and play in their face, as they say in this.
Right.
And so you need to send them with God.
Wow. Now, I did some research. In new studies have shown that the capability of building meaningful relationships have become so small, especially amongst men more so than women. And I watch a lot of the stuff that you're teaching. For some reason, the women have grabbed a hold of it, but the men, we're watching, but we ain't commenting. We don't want people to know that we're watching you, Greg. We don't want people to know we're watching you.
So you're admitting, because they're not in my status. They're watching, but they don't say anything.
We're not commenting.
They're not commenting. And some are sending me messages saying, why are you always talking to the men? Why are you giving them game? That's who I'm called to. I feel like an uncle. Some of them call me Uncle Greg. Like, thank you for that, Uncle Greg. Some people have told me I'm like their father. Their father passed, and so I'm schooling them
You give me uncle vibes. You give me, to me, I look at you as Uncle Greg. That's how I look at you.
Give them perspective from a man's view so that they can learn what they want and what they don't want. There's a lot of women disagree with me, like on this 50-50 thing. You know what 50-50?
I know 50-50. And that was a big thing with Gabrielle Union and
Dwayne.
And Dwayne.
Yeah.
Because I happened to watch it. The story goes that Dwayne said something about, she what?
She's in charge.
Wait.
I love her. Yeah, she said, yeah, but they both pull their weight. And I guess if it works for you, I'm old school in that. I'm new school. I'm more of a modern man probably in a lot of my ways. But when it comes to who takes care of the mortgage, when I say take care of, I mean the mortgage, the utilities, a car, the basics, I still believe the man should. Now, according to their financial situation, the woman can chip in. She can save for the vacation.
Right.
If they want another car, she can take care of her hair. According to your financial status, now if the man can afford to do it all, then if you let her keep her money, then you give her less money.
And now, Bishop Greg, here's the thing that I'm looking at now, and this is happening more so with millennials and as well as a generation under millennials, and Gen Xers are being affected too. People in their 40s and early 50s. What's happening now is that building meaningful relationships have become harder. It's harder to build a meaningful relationship, especially as someone that has a high net worth, someone that works in a professional environment, or someone that has some type of public appeal. And I'm talking about this even as experience, because in today's culture, you don't meet a lot of people. Everything now is how efficient. If I want to go get food, I don't have to go to a restaurant. I order on my phone. If I want to go get groceries, I don't have to go to the grocery store. I can order on my phone. And so what's happening, especially with men are literally dying inside because it's very hard to build meaningful relationships. And because because the meaningful relationships that we are seeing are through technology, we don't even know how to talk to women.
Do you know, there's a study that just came out. I was watching it on CNN, and men are the most loneliest between men and women. Men are lonely. This AI thing now, they're ordering AI dates where she'll do and say whatever you need.
But you leave the men out, Bishop. And this is a big thing, because I've spoken to other people about your platform and I watch your thing. And sometimes, even as another man, I say, well, what about us?
I'm speaking as a man, talking to the women, telling them what to expect. And if they're listening, they know they're listening to what I'm saying, what a man should do. Just because I'm not saying, hey, bro, every now and then I do it. Hey, bro,
every once in a while.
But if you're listening, I'm telling you what a man should do through talking to the women.
Because here's the thing, when it comes down to relationships with men, we do not talk. When we get hurt in a relationship, we don't talk to our homeboys about it. We keep it inside. Matter of fact, when we are hurt, we don't want even people to know that she hurt our feelings, because
that we even have it.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That's not the man. Especially when I was growing up,
that's super like femme and sus and whatever. So, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but that's the psychology of the hypermasculinity. Women, on the other hand, they get hurt. Do you know what such and such did? He came in here. He's a dog. What you think? Well, they have a camaraderie in their community where they're able to talk amongst each other. They're able to speak amongst each other. And then what makes it worse is that if you're a Christian man, it's even harder to even find that without having the judgmental nature.
Yeah. Even in growing up, there were a lot of men that were muted.
Right.
They were muted. Right. They were told, don't say anything. Men are not emotional. They call it sassy now. Yeah. You've heard that term?
Yeah.
You're a sassy man, as you say. But the truth is, men are supposed to speak out. We're supposed to be the king, the priest, provider, the protector. But we've been muted, and the worst thing that a woman can do is to ask a man to speak. and then not really listen.
Right.
Because many women speak to get their point over, not to really respond to what the man has just said. And there are a lot of men, a lot of women ask me, how do I get a man to trust me? How do I get a man to trust me? How do you get trust is earned? So in a lot of cases, once you open him up, you can close it right back up if you don't respond and repeat. Ladies, if you're listening to me, learn how to repeat what he just said and let him know that you are listening. Let him know that your lap is a safe place and not a danger place. Because sometimes he just wants you to listen to him and not fuss at him. Because if you don't allow him to, if you don't love him, if you don't be a safe place for him, then he's going to shut back up. And many men, they want to speak, but every time they speak is because they're afraid, because the woman shuts them up.
Wow.
Says.
Wow. Now, the other thing here that is rather very, very important that we see is the whole terminology caveman. You know, when a man gets or feels as if that they're going through something, they go into their cave. I've heard you talk about that. And in the caveman times, it said they responded through grunts. So we're dealing with an age now where people are not, it's just, And I even notice that even me, if I get annoyed at a situation, I'd stop.
That's how we're shutting down.
I stop talking. I just,
just shutting down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about?
I think that women don't understand that a man wants to talk, but when he shuts down, let me go a little step further. When a man leaves, he's left before his feet walk out the door.
Wow.
When he starts giving caveman vibes, he's leaving mentally. And the next thing is to get enough courage for him to walk out the door. So those are signals that are saying that there's something wrong. But sometimes women talk so much, no negative, all love, respectfully, they're not listening to the signs. They're not seeing the signs because they're so caught up in what they want until they're not noticing that he's not even communicating at all. Because they want to continue to get over, what they want to get over. They don't care if he's responding or not, if he's even alive. Just listen to me. But aren't you listening for change? And instead of bringing life to the situation, you're killing it. By the, all right, I get it down. And he's leaving.
Wow. He's not there.
Men leave mentally and emotionally first. And then they finally walk out the door.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A woman will leave in a minute. I'm leaving. I'm going to get up. But men, we leave slowly.
Wow.
Because more women file for divorce first. Women file for divorce first. They'll run, But a man, he'll try to make it work. He'll stay there. Many of our parents, our grandparents, they just stayed there. A lot of times when I'm doing Clubhouse, they'll say, well, they stayed together. Yeah, but they stayed together with a lot of stuff. There was a lot of dead skeletons.
Wow. Now, Bishop, a recent study has shown that millennials are not getting married. Why is this happening? What is causing this? And how can millennials that do want to get married, or Gen Xers that, or now there's a lot of women, Christian women, that they want to get married. What is the way to combat this trend? Because this is becoming more of the norm.
Women are making more money than they've ever made. They can accomplish things that they've never thought about accomplishing. This is not my grandmother's society now. So they can do it, but they can take vacations without pay. They can flew their own selves out now. They're making six figures. They're buying homes. You see it all over social media. Yeah, buying homes without a man. I'm going to just say this. I'm going to get in trouble. Women don't need a man.
Wow.
They might want a man, but they don't need him.
Wow.
If I can do all that on my own, then why do I need a man? Why do I can making six figures. My daughter, Micah, who's a few years younger than you, probably, she makes almost,
She's hot baller. Yes,
she's getting it. She works,
you showed her. Yeah, you did show.
she's making six figures.
Yeah.
You know, she's hosting major things across the country.
Yeah.
She's single, no children. Let me tell you that. I was in Detroit, at home in Detroit, and she was there for an event, and we were supposed to go to lunch that Thursday. She called, she said, "Dad, don't be mad at me." I said, "What?" She said, "I'm on my way to the airport going to Italy for the weekend." I said, "You're going? Wait." She said, "Yeah." I said, "Are you going to be safe?" You go, "Yeah, I'm good." She said, "I'm sorry." I said, "Girl, live your life." She said, "I thought you would fuss at me." She's single. She left the event early to go to Raw for the weekend, send me pictures, let me know she was there, flew back that Monday, just for a few days. They don't.
Wow.
They don't need it.
So is it because the studies still show that men make more money dollar on the dollar.
Right.
But are you talking about demographically minority women versus minority males, or are you talking, because there's still a thing that's being fought around women saying we're not being treated the same in the workplace. The glass ceiling thing is still there. So when you say that women are making more money, is this just with Black women that you're saying, minority women, Hispanic women versus their men, or is this across the board?
I think across the board.
Okay.
And I think that's part of the problem that we even have at home. There are more women boss.
Okay.
That when they do get married, it's hard for them to switch roles.
Right.
When they come home. The movie that Janet Jackson was in, where she was the boss. I forget what one of the Tyler Perry.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Yeah.
And she was having problems. Because he made more money. She made more money than him. I think there are still disparities. I think men are still overall, but I was speaking more in our community.
Oh, gotcha.
I think
Got you. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I think our women are making more than they have.
Yes.
In the past, and doing better. And their bosses. During the pandemic, we saw so many young Black millennials start businesses.
And it was mostly women.
And it was mostly women.
Absolutely.
It was mostly women. So when you say, do they need, and as I talk to more and more women prophet, they're saying, I'm good. I don't need to be in a relationship. I'm not going to tell you what else they say because we're talking to a mixed mind. Well, they say, I could take care of myself fully.
Wow.
Yeah, more and more. And men are telling me, they said, these women don't want relationships. And they're tired too. They're tired of being with men that don't want to get married, don't want to step up to the plate, don't want to finish the deal. And so a lot of my videos is to that. If he don't want, I've had women tell me over and over again, I walked out of the relationship, Bishop, I've been in it forever, I don't need that. They want to be married, but less men. So when those studies, sometimes I'll be like, I'm hearing women saying they're with men that don't want to get married, but then on the other hand, they're saying men alone because women are tired.
Another study that I'm looking at, not only are men are lonely, but they're saying the likelihood of suicidal rates are going up, especially with males. We do not have a place for us to bounce things off of. In the Pentecostal church, it's mostly filled with our women.
Yeah.
I mean,
and nobody's talking about this. Nobody's doing this.
No.
That's why I was out there by myself and people thought I'm crazy. Nobody's doing it. They're not preaching about it. The other things people want in church, and the church is not talking about money and sex.
Wow. No.
You fuss at people and say,
if they talk about money, you're a prosperity preacher. Stop talking about money. You're all about the money. And if you talk about sex, you're dirty, even though it's a natural thing that God has given every one of us.
And sometimes the people that are saying don't talk about it, but fighting themselves with. Right. Another subject. It's,
woo!
But the church will not talk about it. And then we get up at these gatherings and say, don't be coming here to meet nobody. You didn't come here for that. You came here to get the word. Then where I'm going to meet him at? Right. You want me to live godly. But then Where am I going to meet them at? Then we have so much church, you don't have enough time. I know they're not going like this. Have enough time to meet somebody or even to go out and build a family.
Wow.
There are less families in the church.
Wow. And this gets into the next segment. We're about to go into talking about what is the modern day relationship. Has marriage changed? Is there still hope? And what else do we see coming to the world globally when it comes down to relationships? Is knowing your love language important? Or is this just a bunch of, we're going to talk more with Bishop Greg Davis.
Hey fam, check out my newest interview with Dr. Kimberly Chandler on church grooming, predatory behavior, and how to spot it even within the church.
First, remember that grooming is abuse. And wherever there is power, there is likely to be oppression.
Whoa.
The church is a part of the religious institution. An institution has a hierarchical structure on how to run that hierarchy so that that figure at the top is seen as a god.
Wow. Wow.
Stay connected to Prophet Manasseh Jordan. Text the words text MJ to 33339. That's TEXT MJ to 33339.
Bishop Greg Davis, if you want to follow him, it's at Bishop Greg Davis.
Everywhere.
That's it, at Bishop Greg Davis.
Bishop Greg Davis.
On TikTok, Instagram, and also on YouTube. Now, we're going to start talking about this whole thing with AI, technology. How is this going to be integrated with relationships? And how is this going to affect masculinity in the coming future? Bishop, we ended talking about the modern type of relationship, how we're now seeing an emergence of women saying, I do not need a man. I don't need them for the emotional support. The sexual part is different, but emotionally, I don't need them. So now we're starting to see for the first time where the women are now taking an attitude that many of the men took at one place and one other time. Where do you see relationships going now with technology? One of the things that is a staggering report, especially amongst men, is that pornography has become one of the biggest things that people are watching. And just because we're not talking about it, it's in the church too.
So pornography is one thing, but also I'm a CNN watcher. I was watching one Saturday, and now men are creating in their own image, sounds familiar, an AI wife, an AI date.
Wait.
They speak, you put in the things that you want and need. You ain't got to worry about submission. You ain't got to worry about them doing, and they actually now meet your need.
Emotionally.
Yeah, not physically. Not yet, they're saying. It's on the way. Physically, it's on the way. But emotionally, the AI date or girlfriend is meeting the needs emotionally. And think about it. A man just wants somebody to listen to him. Agree with him sometime. Love on him. What are the things that you need? You don't need a necessarily physical. I mean, I love being by myself. That's a fun fact most people don't know. I'm a loner, even though I love all this.
Right.
Most time you call me, 9% I'm
Be by yourself, yeah.
that emotional, that conversation.
Right.
Stimulate my mind. Talk to me. And so AI, it's not coming. You keep saying coming.
Wow.
It's here. It's here already.
Wow.
So if men are doing that, eventually women will do the same thing. Women are doing other things. So you talking about pornography? Am I free to talk?
Yeah.
It's a thing called roles.
What is this? I'm a little church boy, so I don't know, but what is this?
Women are using a thing called the roles.
Wow.
To stimulate themselves.
Wow. Wow.
And they're saying it's, I don't need a man. I don't need a man for sex. I don't need a man for money. I don't need a man to get things. There are a lot of them that want a man.
But I feel like there's still a lot of women that do want it. They want the companion.
Yeah, they want the great. I don't care. We get we can have AI, we can have roles, we can have pornography. It will never take the place of touch.
Yeah.
My love language. I just love language. If we want to break, my love language is touch, and you won't be surprised if it next with gifts.
Wow.
Touch. I love touch. To be touched and touch. AI can't take the place of that yet. No matter how much you have device or whatever, that doesn't take the. There is an issue with that. There is a problem. We talk about this on Clubhouse because we talk about everything, everything, and that is when you replace the physical with devices and AI, you have a false sense of reality.
It's interesting you're saying that because I was looking at a study where they're talking about the overstimulation of left hemisphere. And so what we're watching now is when this begins to take place over people who especially watch pornography, masturbation, or any of that type of stuff, one of the things that begins to start taking place is that they start looking at people as objects. And I feel that this is what you're hitting on that is starting to happen amongst men. I think it first started with men, but now we're even starting to see it take place with women, where they're now looking at their companionship or their partnership as an object. I want you when I need you, when I need to use you, and then when I'm done, bye, get out, go back.
Money on the table.
Wow. Oh, God.
That's why so many don't mind long distance relationships or long distance marriages, because I only want you. I'm busy. And when you think about our lives, the right one has to fit into your life, Prophet, that understands your life, because you may not always have time.
Right.
When you let's talk about ministry, because we have a mixed crowd here. When you talk about ministry, think about how many women that are in ministry that are single. Well, some of the greats never got married. Well, I went through divorce because the very thing that I built with Bishop Kim, now she's bishop, is ministry, and it destroyed our marriage.
Wow.
Because I let it go too far. We were on the time. We were on the rise. And
so that's the next part I wanted to go into, Bishop. You have all of this. You did, because I was just about to ask you.
Yeah.
You already gave it to, because this is what I wanted to go into your personal life now, because you have so much wisdom you have so much wisdom on a lot of, I talked to Bishop on the phone. Some of the stuff he says to me, I'm like,
keeps me up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm like, dude, why don't you talk about this stuff? I'm like, we want to hear this stuff too. You had one divorce or two? How many divorces have you had? So that's one.
More than one.
Two.
More than one. I've been divorced more than one.
Okay. And so you have the experience. No, but you have the experience, and you know what that feels like. You've had the experience. You know what that feels like. I've heard you talk about it. I've heard you talk about it. You just talked about it. My question is, what is the number one reason why relationships do not work?
Bad choices.
And was that your
bad choices? Bad choices, wrong timing, loneliness.
What was your biggest failure when it came down to relationships that you can take ownership for?
Bad choices.
And what type of bad choices?
So when me and I was married 20 years to Pastor Kim.
Okay.
I still deem it as successful. I know that's hard for some.
Wow. So it's,
I know that's hard for some people because they say, well, if it was so successful, why aren't you all together?
right.
We're still best of friends. We serve in the same organization. We just made her a bishop in our organization.
Wow, that's major.
She's been there for 30 years, right along with me. She helped build Full Gospel. Bishop Morton is still our spiritual father. We raised our kids. We built ministry. We started churches. One of your fathers, Bishop Hargrove, came down to our church in Louisiana years ago. Your father came to our first church.
Wow.
In Detroit in the 90s.
Wow.
Prophesied just about everything I'm doing on the parking lot, on the way out. We did all that, but we had nothing else. I would come home from traveling. I had 3 churches, the Word Network, all that. What we didn't do, we didn't renegotiate the terms and conditions.
Whoa.
There are changes. Marriages evolve. They change. People change. They're not the same that they were 20 years ago. I had prayed, and she prayed with me for television. She believed God for that. We pastored together. She is my co-pastor. Got a church in Pennsylvania. Then I got a church in Delaware. Then television happened. The church in Delaware started going. Did television. She was used to doing everything with me. I had to send her to Pennsylvania to pastor that church. She couldn't be with me in Delaware. She didn't want to do television. And I never noticed, with all the big conferences we were having, I never noticed things changing. We had 3 homes. Home in Pennsylvania. I had an apartment in Delaware.
So it wasn't a money issue.
No. I had an apartment in Delaware. Had a loft in Detroit. I was flying there every week. My grandfather took sick, then I had to oversee his church in Detroit. While I'm doing all this success, I'm driving a Rolls Royce. Had 3 by that time.
Wow.
Success, all that, but not noticing.
Wow.
Further apart. I would come home, we'd try to have dinner while I was on my way to Delaware on Saturdays. We had nothing to talk about. It was Blackberries back then. We'd be on our Blackberries, talk. Then one morning, we're in the middle of the conference, 7 Days of Glory. People all over the world, literally all over the world in Delaware. She wakes up and says, "If you don't love me, just tell me." I'm like, "Sybil." And then I knew that we had a plan.
Oh, wow.
Not renegotiated life. We just kept moving through rooms and shuffling doors and building people while we were failing. And I'm not the only one. And so finally, we had nothing. And we grew apart. That thing that people say you can't grow apart, yes, you can. If you don't catch it. So you know what my fault was? You asked me what my fault was.
Well, yeah.
I'm the man. There was no cheating on either one of our parts.
Oh, right.
I'm the man. So I should have stopped this. How many more conferences we going to have? How much more success we going to have? How much more we going to climb the ladder? How much more we going to help everybody else while we're failing? So I never stopped it. I'm the man. I'm supposed to stop it. We want to be the man, then let's stop it. I never stopped it. And we never, when you get your PayPal, or get you every now and then say the terms and conditions.
Right.
That's what marriage is. That's what relationships.
All relationships, even friendships. Oh,
What is this? We never did that. Did it again? You came there. She told me that she was hurt.
I came to that wedding. Yeah, I was there.
She was hurt. Told me don't mess with her. She had some things keeping her privacy, so I'm not.
Right.
But she had been through a lot through her last marriage. And she told me when I'm out, I'm damaged goods, leave me alone. What should I did? Left her alone. I put my cape on. I'm a saved. You can't save. Jesus is the only Savior.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't say.
Wow.
She left. Most people, I haven't really talked about you getting the exclusive. She left. went back to where she's from.
Now your first wife also left you, right?
No, me and Bishop Kim,
You just parted.
Yeah.
But she was the one that announced
we both did together
you both did
at church.
at church.
We had a meeting the night before. We were still doing business, even then. And you know what she said? Going back to the person, when we went to both of the church, we was passing to church. She stood up and said, "This is still my hero, and don't y'all talk about it." And we lost nobody at neither one of them.
You know,
I still go back home to.
wow. You know what's crazy, Bishop? I feel, and that's so big of you to be so candid, because in the body of Christ, and I grew up around some of the biggest preachers on the planet. I mean, I was a kid, I would be hanging out with Reverend Ike, and I didn't even know he was that big. I wouldn't know that was $1 million Rolls Royce, and I was a little kid hanging around there. I remember going to the mall and in Ball Harbor, and they said, just pick out anything, just put it on the tab. And I was like, I want that. And they were like, just put it on his tab. I didn't know who he was, but I knew his car looked a little different, because it was like one of those cars where it was like and then I heard him mention, I bought this from the royal family, and then come to find out car's worth over $1 point something million. So I grew up around that. And then so I had that experience. And then in my teens, I was around Benny Hinn, and I was around Paul Crouch, and these were the big Christian dynasties that were, at that time, you couldn't go, and I would be around them, and I would hang out, and I would see a lot of the great anointing on men and women of God. I mean, the anointing was there, but I would notice that a lot of them, and without calling out names, a lot of them were just lonely, sad, and bitter.
And you can be in a marriage and be lonely. You know how many friends I had? Well, I'm talking, but constituents or other preachers and leaders who are married and don't want to go home.
What I saw, it was like a business arrangement. And in many ways, Bishop, it and this is me talking, publicly, it scared me, because I was young, and to be around some of the great, these are some of the great preachers that many of you guys look at. I was around all of them. That I never forget, I went to Thanksgiving with Bishop Jake's house. So I was around all of these guys, and it scared me to watch the marriages look like business transactions. And I said, I never wanted that. If I'm not going to be able to be fully there because I'm focusing on building my ministry, I don't want to do that to someone, because I watched these guys do that. And it was more so of, we have to keep the ministry together, so we have to keep the marriage together. And I've literally watched that take place. The only ones that I did not see that really with is with my parents, because they kept it, mom and dad, they go on vacation, it's their vacation. We're going here. They would tell us straight up, you guys, we'd be like, can we come? No, you guys can't go. We're going to be in the room naked, and you guys are, oh, we're good, Dad. Yeah, bye. All right, we're good. Yeah, you're telling us too much. He's like, you want to know more what I'm going to do? No, Dad, we're good. They kept, yeah. So when he would tell us, we were like, yeah, we don't want to go. Yeah, go, bye, yeah, leave.
Even when we went on vacation, we would go on vacation after the conference. That was the thing. All the bishops go on vacation. We were still planning for the new year and write our goals out and all that. That wasn't really a vacation. It was a getaway. It was a change of scenery. But we were always working. Even when we bought our house in Pennsylvania, out by King of Prussia Mall, there were 2 rooms, and we turned them into offices. And our offices were right next to each other. It got so much, I was over the field, and Full Gospel Bishop Morton put me over the field, and I kept firing everybody. He said, I know what to do. I'm going to give you Pastor Kemp. She was even my sister.
So my next question is this then. You're single now. You hear so many people talk about marriage, and it's pushed so big in the church. Are you married yet? Are you married yet? You need to get married. He that finds a wife finds favor with God. I know all the scriptures. No one talks about the gift of singleness. There's a lot of people watching us that are single. There's a lot of saints that either was married and they're divorced and they're single. And there's some of them that they're happy being single. Paul talks about the gift of being single. Very rarely do I see anyone teach on that, talk about that, let alone acknowledge that. It's like they acknowledge all the married people, but if you're single, you're garbage.
You watch some of my videos, I talk about all that, especially during the holidays. I tell them, because there's such a temptation to go back to where you came, to call up an ex. And I tell single people, Arisha Hilliard has a wonderful book.
Wow.
And that's a table for one.
Oh.
How to sit at a table all by yourself and enjoy yourself. Here's the reason why we can be successfully single. We don't like ourselves.
Wow.
We have not come in agreement with ourselves, meaning that we have not sorted out things from our past. So we want to stay busy so that we can't ever think about things that we need to reconcile in our life. And once you reconcile, you'll find out that you're not such a bad person. I'm going on vacation. I'm here now at the studio because I was coming in town for rest and relaxation.
This is your vacation. Yeah.
And so I'm by myself, like for real. You know, sometimes people say, who took that picture that you in? I act the Uber driver or somebody.
Oh, no.
But I enjoy me. You can celebrate yours. I'm so glad you asked me this. You're single. You don't need a man to fly you out. You don't need to wait for that dream vacation. I'll be seeing me and somebody's son. No, go there by yourself. This is my dream house when I get married. No, increase your value and get your own dream house. This is the car I'm gonna get when I get. No, get it with you. Mm-hmm. You have the power to do. You don't need another person. So when you increase that value by yourself, then you up the antes for the person that may come along. As long as you stay down here and do nothing, you're not gonna attract a high value man. You're not gonna do it. So enjoy being single. Enjoy time with you. Enjoy your own voice. Love you. How can you love somebody else?
Wow.
Can you enjoy you?
Wow, for sure.
How can you enjoy somebody else and you don't even enjoy you? I enjoy me.
Right.
I love me. Say that with, I enjoy me.
Yeah.
I love me. I adore. Look in the mirror and say that you're beautiful.
Right.
One of the things we talked about, Gabrielle, Mary Jane, the show that used to come on.
Yeah.
I loved it. One of the things I love the most about her.
A lot of women love that show. Everybody loves
I'll
it.
tell you why. She was positive, though. Even though she made a lot of mistakes.
Oh, go.
She was real. She would put post-it notes on a mirror, speaking to herself, despite herself, in spite of herself. She would have on the mirror who she was. Write to yourself. Do all the things. Send yourself flowers.
I believe in that.
Send yourself flowers.
I believe in that, yeah.
Go to the movies by yourself. Go to the theater. Go to the concert. Even though you have girlfriends, don't hide behind your friend because you don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
Enjoy you. And guess what? Say this part. Those trips and those places you're going by yourself, those 5-star restaurants, guess what? The right one just might be there on that note.
Wow. That's good, Bishop. That's good. Thank you so much for ministering, because it's like, I even see it, I'm like, man, everyone's doing this conference, but if anyone talks to singles, it's always like, you got to get married. There's some singles that are not, Paul wasn't married. Elijah the prophet wasn't married. There were some people in the scriptures that shook the kingdom and they were single. And it wasn't the will of God, I believe, for everyone to be married. It's not in the will for everybody. So Bishop, here's the thing. So I know you've been married a couple times. Now, let's talk about your biggest failure. What was your biggest failure? I remember it was all over social media. There was a child that came. You weren't married to the woman.
I wasn't married at all, though.
I didn't. I was just saying you weren't married to the woman.
I wasn't married at all. I was single.
You was. I was gonna get to that part too, Bishop. I was gonna get to that part too. But you were very open you were very candid. A lot of guys, they hide it. They don't want anyone to. You've been very public with your scars, and that's one of the things that impresses me. You don't hide. When Jesus resurrected, he showed his scars. Most preachers try to hide their scars.
One summer night in Detroit, I was riding around down there, was tired, had met a young lady. She actually had came into my DMs, and we had went out a couple times, and
She was a young tenderoni, pretty young thing.
So I did something I normally don't do. I went over her house. I go over nobody's house and it happened. I should have been doing something else. She got bricked. I didn't tell anybody. Took care of the child for almost 2 years. With Shane, Bishop Greg Davis. How could I have done such a thing? You know,
Bishop in the full gospel,
Bishop in the
had
full
churches, spiritual sons.
Yep. And she got pregnant. And 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, Valentine's this coming year, she called screaming hysterical. The baby wasn't breathing and had asthma attack. The baby died. Pretty baby. Me and the mother wasn't together, but I took care of my obligations, and literally all hell broke out in my life that day. It was a Sunday morning. My son saw it first.
It became public.
She posted it. Hadn't posted it until then. And on behalf of me and her, the baby had passed. That's what she posted. And the phone started ringing. My son called. He said, "Daddy, are they talking about you?" Because his name is Gregory Michael Davis too. I know I ain't been there, Dad. And he said, "Hey." I said, "Yeah, it's mine." And then I got a call from Larry Reed.
Oh, God. He always be getting the tea on everything.
You know, he said, "I'm going to continue to laugh." Then he come back and said, "I got to say something." He said, "Because I'm getting a lot." He said, "Is it true?" I said, "Yes." Next call I made was to my ex-wife, Bishop Kim, let her know. And next call I made was to my bishop, Bishop Morton. And he prayed for me. My pastor, Pastor Kim, I have a local pastor. He said, "Man, this ain't the end." Everybody was kind to me, because when you show grace, people will show grace.
Wow.
When you're not arrogant and egotistical and don't forgive nobody. And so the baby died, paid for the funeral, and I went through my storm. Bishop Morton set me down.
Wow.
From the fellowship for a month. And
wow. Bishop, this is getting so good. We're going to go into now the next part of Bishop building what is now becoming an empire in social media on The Right One Coming. And what's the future for Bishop, and what does he see the future for those that are tuning in and that he's blessing? You don't want to miss this next part.
Check out Prophet Manasseh Jordan teaching on prophetic mapping.
This teaching is going to be rather intense, and I'm going to discuss some things, and hopefully it doesn't get blocked. I'm going to discuss some things that have never been discussed, and I'm going to get very deep into war mapping. And are we about to see the next major war that's going to erupt? What does the Bible say about it? And what does the Bible speak about? Will World War III be part of biblical prophecy? And what topography and geography and countries this deal with?
Stay connected to Prophet Manasseh Jordan. Text the words text MJ to 33339. That's TEXT MJ to 33339.
This is getting steamy now. So you talked about the child, you talked about weaknesses, and you talked about how you reconciled your weakness, because it's very easy to turn weakness to wickedness. You didn't do that. And I applaud you on that, Bishop, and I applaud how open you are, especially for us younger men to see that. You know what I mean? Now, the next version of Bishop Greg is that I'm looking at this big studio that you're now getting involved in. I actually called you, I don't know if you remember, and I said, Bishop Greg, I see the Lord's telling me the studio. And then all of a sudden, a couple months later, you're doing the whole thing with this studio. And our ministry, we supported, and those that are part of my ministry, we sowed into your studio. I sought you out.
To give. I didn't call
You know, you didn't ask me. You
building too.
You did a public appeal, and I just felt as a friend, and as you stood with me when I would do my big meetings and my crusades, you would help me and you would be there for me. So I wanted to stand for you when you were doing something. And it's not popular. You see this, especially in the Black church. It's not popular, but we support it. Tell me about what this new studio thing is, and what is this going to be used for? Because now you have a beautiful podcast that you're doing. Tell the people about it.
Well, a year ago, I left Christian television because and somebody needs to listen to this, the passion was gone. And when the passion is gone, I didn't want to be like
Now, people was talking a lot about you during the time you were on the Word Network. You were on the Word Network. They were saying you were a sellout. I'm just being real. Uncle Tom. They were calling you all types of names. Oh, God. There was a lot of names that were being called, because those that didn't know, the Word Network was owned by someone who wasn't a Christian, and he was just flat out racist. And you were still loyal there. And so,
I've never been a follower. I'm always a leader, and I leave at my own terms. And I left at my own terms, and I wanted to leave in good terms. I've always, I was with Bishop Green T. Jackson at Impact, helped him start that network, and he said this to me. When I left, he said, as much as I would love to say something bad, I can't, you leave right.
wow.
He said, I give you my blessings,
Because he definitely would say something bad if something.
Shout out, Bishop.
And I wanted to lead on my own terms, and sometimes that means getting ridiculed and talked about, and I understood the context, and I understood the things that were said.
Okay.
But I left maybe 2 years after that, and
yeah, it was about 2 years.
It's been a year now, and somebody asked me if I missed it. I haven't even thought about it.
Wow.
To miss it. And so didn't lead to do anything but to do what I was doing on social media. And the Lord spoke to me. He said, why are you paying for all these studios? You've done this for years. You know how to do your own. So Brother Ray from the Word Network, who had left prior to me, I talked to him about building the studio.
And you took on something enormous. This was like a 30, 40,000, 50,000.
I called Mark Moore, because Pastor Mark Moore, he had raised money.
Now, Bishop, $50,000 for the studio thing that you're doing. Who gave the most money to support? We're just being nosy. We want to know who gave the most money. Who gave the most money?
Said Pastor, that's the question. Larry Reed gave the most. Really?
Are you serious? No. But
it's on my wall. I raised over $51,000. Larry Reed, I think, gave $2,000 or $2,500. He gave the most. And I think Bishop Walker, my presiding bishop of Full Gospel, gave the second most. And I had a lot of $1,000 donations. No one said no.
Now, what about the Jordan family?
Bishop Jordan gave 1,000. You gave 1,000.
So that was the Jordan family. So we right at behind. We had 2,000. We had 2,000. Because I called Dad. I gave my 1,000, and I called Dad, and Dad said, "Okay, we said what?"
He was out of the country.
He was out. Yeah, and he said, "I'll do." He
was somewhere, and when I texted him, like, the Jordan family gave 2,000. So I guess you're right up there. What you want to do it? If you want to do a Cuba dead. But we raised over 51, and people still, believe it or not, I just had a couple people give, and so we not only hit the 50,000.
Wow.
In 2 weeks, I had raised half of it.
Wow.
On every
That's wow.
Bishop Shear, the Church of God in Christ, gave 1,000. Many of
Who gave the least amount?
I don't know. We had people that gave $10,000.
Which preacher?
I don't remember.
Oh, that's
I don't remember. If you want, I can send the shot of it, and you can put it up.
of what everybody.
For board.
Oh, really? What everyone gave?
You walk in the
So my name is there too.
yes.
Of what every preacher.
Send you the footage.
I'm very interested to know which preacher, because if it's a preacher that gives the least and he's rolling around in private jets and stuff, I got issue with that.
I don't know.
I'll put it up there.
So that we could.
I'll put it up there so we can.
As we speak right now, you just know which one it is.
Wow.
And then I was wondering what the question.
So y'all don't know. I called Larry Reed on the phone. I said, I'm interviewing Bishop Greg Davis. And Larry Reed said he wanted me to ask you a question. So those are the two questions.
Larry Reed gave them up. But do you know what? All jokes aside, that is even with your dad, because it was no secret. Your dad and Larry didn't agree with
No, they did not agree.
that, even though it got tough. They were men enough to say it.
They said they made it known to you too. Yeah.
They called me personally.
Yeah. Oh, they did. Okay.
They called me personally, and I appreciate that.
When you were at the Word Network.
And I was at the work. But even at that, look how this is real brotherhood.
Right.
And I think it's a testament to that no matter what, we still support one another. And they both gave. And Larry did more.
Wow. And that's rare.
That was retribution for him talking about me so much.
Oh, God.
No, but it was appreciated. And the studio is debt free.
Wow.
4-camera studio, 7 sets. Since I've been here, it's been rented out. I use it for my content,
Right.
of course. And there are 7 other sets we've rented out. People fly in. We've had people fly in already. We've had a young lady come in who was finishing her CD. She needed a space. She said she used to have to fly to Atlanta to do it.
Wow.
The 2B movie thing, we've had people come in there and do parts of their movies. And so I plan to do one in Atlanta, and I plan to do one in Miami. That was the original vision, to do one in Miami and one in Atlanta.
That's beautiful, Bishop. Now, where do you see, in terms of the Bishop Greg Davis show, it started out as almost like an exaltation type of show. I remember that. My grandma loved it when it was like that. It migrated into interviewing young preachers. Then now it is relationships. What is next for Bishop Greg Davis show?
I'm going to give the person the credit that said this to me. When, I don't know if you've ever been there before, where you get in that stage of, I don't want to call it rebellion. I don't know what to call it, but I was at that stage that I've been preaching for 30-something years, been in church since I was 9.
And you're good at it too.
I want to do something a little different. So Clubhouse started during the pandemic. I built my following up from there. And I said,
That's what everybody said. They said Greg is killing it on Clubhouse. I don't do Clubhouse, but they said that you're on there, and they said thousands of people are just...
No, not thousands. In the 3 years that I've been there, over 1.5 million people have been through my Clubhouse.
Wow.
I've launched 4 books in there. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, talk about relationship. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, I do ministry. I didn't go in there to do ministry. But Prophet Luther McKeesh, he said to me, Greg, man, you're not supposed to walk away from ministry. You asked me the question, I'm bringing it back around. You're supposed to bridge the gap between the natural and the spiritual.
Wow.
And that's what I'm doing. So you're going to see me do a little more of the spiritual stuff.
Okay.
Studio, interviews, what I do. But I'm still going to hear relationship. You've spoken some things that you see, and I receive it. I know a lot of times I'm quiet because I'm taking it in. My quietness is not rejection.
No, I know that.
because I'm a listener. And so I'm going to do some lifestyle things in the studio. It's going to evolve.
Okay.
Everybody is saying, well, I see it being the network. I don't know about that. Because when I left Word, I didn't see the podcast. I'm the kind of person, I let go. Feel.
Mhm.
I'm going to drop this. You get more on the journey than you do to the destination.
Absolutely.
Stuff is revealed on the journey. Things that, mysteries that you didn't even know. When I left Word, I had no podcast studio. And it came to me around February, and we started working on it in April. And I took my time, because when you get older, you take your time. So so we opened in September, and I do 3 shows a month, always ahead. And I'm loving it. I'm loving not to have to rent it. And my landlord is a young preacher that you know, one of my sons.
Wow.
Adele Kimball, probably.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying.
That's good.
Nothing that's it.
This is my man cave style. So this is the next part. Now, I heard you say that you're going to start doing some stuff with groups of people. That was the first time I actually heard you say that. Can you talk about that? What is it? Is this a relationship type of thing? What is it?
Other in 2024, I had planned one during the pandemic, but the numbers went back up. Man, place booked. It was going to be a gathering, and it was going to sound something like this. Friday, if you come, we're going to have a mix. It was actually going to be in a lounge.
Wait. This has never been done in church.
We're not having church. We are, but let me say, we have a mixer.
So a mixture is where single
people just,
and it's mostly going to be single women, and
everybody is coming. If you know, you have name tag, go get to know one another. They may even do speed dating that night. And then Saturday, we'll do panels all day long and talk about relationship. I'm going to interview people.
So if you're single, come to Bishop Greg's thing. So if I go there, I can...
Or some kind of event with music. Because most people don't know that. I know you love music.
I'll be on the phone with him, and he'll be having music in the background, and he won't even turn down the music, and he'll still be on the phone. I was like, can you turn down the music, Bishop Greg? I can do that.
And then Sunday morning, before they leave, we're going to have the Sunday word like I do online.
Oh, wow.
Leave, we'll do about an hour of the word. And you go home. Hopefully you meet somebody or you get empowered. So that's going to be next year, and it's probably going to be either in Atlanta.
Wow. Well, if it's in Miami, in my territory, I might step out there because I'm single.
Hey, this is the part we didn't get to. When people say they're single, like Prophet Manasseh, he's single by choice. Aaron, he's single by choice. He's not single because he has to be. Being single by choice. When people say, lean in. When people say they're single, that don't mean they can't have it.
Because I heard you say you're single, Bishop.
Well, I believe you're single until you're committed.
Right.
I believe dating is getting data.
Right.
I believe you can date a lot of different people.
Right. I agree with that.
Until you commit to that one person, then you get data exclusively.
That's really good. That's good. Data.
Yeah, dating is data. Information.
Data mining.
Yeah, you get information from 2 or 3 people.
Right.
And then whatever data you get that computes for you, you got to say to the other 2, hey, this is not what I need or want. Then you start getting data from one person. You go to the commitment thing. You're still single. All right. Your driver's license says single.
Right.
Papers when you fill them out. And there's no way on there to say I'm in a relationship.
Right. Right.
You're single until.
Wow. That's good. Bishop, and bring the show to a closing, I want you to talk to the fellas, because you reject us. And then I'm going to have you talk to the women last, because you have an anointing to talk. You have an anointing to talk to the women. But tell the fellas the number one thing. What is the number one thing that they can do to connect better with a woman that they have some type of interest in?
I think the number one thing that you can do is to make sure that you know yourself bird. And for thine own self be true. Wow. Well, if you're not ready to connect with a woman, meaning you haven't gotten yourself together, don't mess up somebody. Make sure you're ready to get with somebody before you even approach them. And then if you're really not ready and you still want to have fun, let them know.
I was about to ask you, what if there's something that might not be ready for that, but they still want to connect,
But you got to let them know.
okay, that's fair.
When you decide to get serious with somebody, then it's going to boomerang.
Okay. Yeah.
Let a woman know where you're at. She just might want to play.
Okay.
She just put, I know that word is, but she may be in the same place that you're in. She may not want a relationship. She just may, and you must understand, you have to be honest. That's why a lot of men get in trouble, because they're not honest. Be honest with where you are. And then it. Don't just talk it, show it. Because I teach women, don't just look at what he said. Don't just listen to what he said. You can, because there's action and what he said.
And what do you tell women that are in relationships that are stuck? I get this a lot, even from some of my partners that are with someone and the relationship, it was going, then it hits a point and it's stuck. It's not moving forward. There's no commitment. There's no marriage. Do they just leave the man? Do they just, because I think that's kind of screwed up. I mean, what?
They never say to the man, what we do.
Wow.
90% of the people that hit me in my DMs and ask for these free questions.
Wow.
Because I have coaching,
Wow.
I tell them they get one question, don't make it long. All of them say, what do I do? I've been 8 years, some people. 3 years. I say, have you ever asked them what this is? No. What are we doing? Because I'm going to drop something to you. You can use this. A man will have a good time with you, but that don't mean you for a long time.
Whoa.
He'll take you out, wine and dine you for years, because he's actually having a good time with you. And Aaron shook his head too, but that don't even mean that he's a lifetime. I don't mean he wants to spend the rest of his life with you because he's having a good time. Some men don't want to settle down. They enjoy the freedom, but they enjoy you too. But just because that's what he's enjoying, don't let somebody else force what they want or what you. Do you not know how many people that are in the world, that are in your city, in the country, and you gonna spend your whole life with somebody that don't want to finish the deal and play in your face? Hey, tell them go with God. Increase. Be like Louis Vuitton. Never go on sale. Never discount. It never, if anything, Louis Vuitton will sit and raise his prices.
Oh.
That's what you do. You sit pretty and raise your value.
We're about to end this segment. I'm feeling something here, and that's what I said. I said, I feel like you're talking prophetically. I want you to pray for people that are believing God for marriage. Yeah. I just felt led that I want to end it with people who are believing God for marriage, and also for people that must find the gift of being single, because they're both of that are out there. And some people have to find the gift of being single before they get married, or there's some people that needs to find the love of themselves that you spoke about earlier. Can we pray and end the program with you praying for these precious people?
The Lord spoke to me and said that 2024 would be the year of the hookup. That you're going to hook up with that person.
Hookups?
Oh, okay. Hook up.
I want to make sure I hear you right. I want to make sure I hear you right.
For there's going to be marriages that are going to take place.
Wow.
I'm talking about this when the right one comes. Mm-hmm. Coming. She's coming. So, Father, I pray for every single woman, every single man that desires marriage.
Yes, Lord.
That you would give them the desires of their heart. As they prepare the rest of this 2024 would be a year that you will hook them up, that you would send the right one, that their paths will cross. And Father, I pray for those that are single,
Yes, Lord.
trying to live the life of a successful single.
Yes, Lord.
I speak love on them,
Mm.
that they find love in themselves, that they find peace, that they find joy in themselves, that they will not focus on being single, but focus on themselves.
Mm.
I pray, God, for those that are believing you right now for the right one. Bless all relationships,
Yes, Father.
any kind,
Yes, Father.
in Jesus' name.
Business relationships. Yes, Lord.
Oh,
Yes, Lord.
amen.
Bishop, thank you so much. They're going to love this thing. And they can follow you on Bishop at Bishop Greg Davis.
Yep. Can I get my website?
Yeah, go ahead.
GregDavisShow@gmail.com. I have 4 relationship books that you need to get.
Say it one more time.
GregDavisShow@gmail.com.
And that's there at the bottom of the screen. And the Go With God paraphernalia.
It's at GregDavisShow@gmail.com. So did you be prepared when you tell them that?
Go